Alright, what is going on, my fellow Joestars, as I have another JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode review for you. Now, this shit is blah, blah, lit. That's how lit it is. It's an inconceivable amount of lit. So, let's get right into it. Basically, this episode starts out with, we got little Koichi on his way to school, got a brand new bike, he's about to take everybody's bitch. You know it's Koichi, you know Koichi got that. Koichi's a fucking stud, yo. That's all I gotta say about my dog Koichi. But on his way to school, he runs over a bag, and it starts leaking blood. Now, what we see, so it basically appears as if Koichi is now run over something and kill it. And then basically he gets stopped by an older dude, but he's a midget, I guess. Yeah, I mean, people don't get offended by that, right? Midget. I mean, he's a short dude. I honestly think dwarf sounds way worse, so I'm just gonna call him midget to be safe. But yeah, he's like an older dude. He's already graduated high school, but he's extremely short, like little kid short, like about Koichi's height. And Koichi's a small ass freshman. So basically, we get this guy telling him that was his cat in that bag. So he's like, oh shit, what the hell? And then basically, obviously he's a con artist, because he's like, he put his cat in the middle of the street, and then he's like, oh, do you think it's my fault? Like, my cat wouldn't have been killed if you wouldn't have ran it over. And then, in my opinion, like, I wouldn't take that shit, but, it's little innocent Koichi. He doesn't know better. He's kind of just like, oh shit, I mean, what? And the con artist is obviously asking him for money. He's like, yo, give me some cash, you killed my cat. So then he's like, I have no money. But then he looks away. So of course, I mean, a con artist is gonna know somebody's lying. Because if they're the biggest liars on the planet, liars recognize liars, real recognizes real. He recognizes that he's lying. So basically, he taps him on the chest, which puts a kind of a huge lock on it. And what it is it's a guilt lock. And the more guilty it feels, the more heavier the lock gets, until the point where you want to take your whole life. It's one hell of a stand-up, but it's really fucking crazy. So basically, he's about to get him, but then luckily Josuke and Okuyasu, I think his name is, basically I'm just gonna call him Obito because that's what I remember him as because of his voice actor. So Obito and Josuke come up out of nowhere, see him getting bullied by this guy. They're like, yo, what the fuck's going on, yo? So then he ends up, basically all that happens is Obito pushes the guy. The guy makes himself fall into the street and bust his fucking tooth open, which then makes a guilt lock appear on Obito. So then basically, they're just like, holy shit. But then, of course, Josuke, being the type of guy Josuke is, I fucking love Josuke, man. He's basically like, he goes through the bag. It's not a real cat, it's a toy cat. So it takes away the grief from Koichi. So then he also takes the tooth up from the ground, plucks it back into his mouth, and he's all good, which takes away the guilt from Obito. So basically, with those two free, he's trying not to get his ass whooped. He leaves the wallet there with what seems to be the money in it, but all it is the corners of the money, and he has the actual bill. So he took Koichi's gym shoe money. So he still mugged him. But then anyways, Koichi gets out of school. He goes home, and who does he see talking to his dear mom? The lying, scheming douchebag himself. There with his mom, quote unquote, returning Koichi's wallet. And his mom's loving this guy. But basically what's happening is he's trying to get him out, but no matter what happens, his mom is doubting him no matter what. So basically what happens is this guy is basically threatening his mom and sister. He puts the guilt lock on the both of them in front of Koichi, basically fucking trying his ass. So basically we see Koichi go fucking off, yo. Like, his voice becomes overpowered, man. He goes from little fucking, it's like the Sooner transformation, where he goes from little go man to I shall now kill you, I fight for love. Like, just basically that change happens. Koichi's hair gets all fucking spiked up and shit, and his stand finally breaks out of the egg. And it looks honestly like Hierophant Green, which is I'm pretty sure that's the name of it, right? Or Hierophant Green. That was God damn it, yo. What the fuck is the Kakyoin, that's the that guy's awesome. Yeah, Kakyoin stand. It looks very similar to it, but not the same powers. But it just reminds me of it, very reminiscent. So basically, he goes into it with his new stand, but as he punches him, all it does is leave. It does no damage, but it leaves like a little writing on his arm, like a comic book writing, like pow, boom, bam, like that type of shit. So basically what it does is when you punch him, it leaves the sound on, it leaves the little thing on his arm, and it plays that sound from inside the person's body. So basically this guy's eardrums are getting blasted. But of course he doesn't want to let it go. He wants to guap. He wants to take the whole house, the whole everything. Just he wants to take pretty much Koichi's whole life. And then of course he has to get, in order to win, he does a cheap thing. He stabs himself and then screams loudly and then throws a knife at Koichi, leading his sister and his sister mom come in. They're like, yo, what the fuck's all this yelling? And then basically all you see is Koichi with a knife and then the guy on the floor bleeding, and then they're like, oh my god. So then they get the guilt locks, and then basically this is when we realize that if you feel guilty enough, you'll want to take your own life. But then he's like, Mom, believe in me. And then he hits her with his stand, basically saying, believe in me. And she's like, you know, if I won't believe in my own son, who the hell will? And then that basically leads to his triumphant victory against the little midget man, which is now Koichi's little bitch. Because Koichi was about to take this guy out, and then he's like, no, it's just a joke. He's like, oh yeah, well, gonna get me 100 grand tomorrow. He's like, what? And then he's like, oh no, I'm just joking. But says it real seriously. Like, he's like, oh, it doesn't really sound like a joke, but alright, man. So basically, episode ends with the little midget man basically being Koichi's little bitch. So, what you guys think of this episode? A lot of things happen, big moves, a new character introduced with an alright stand. You think he's gonna be a part of the group? I know a lot of you guys read the manga, so you know what's gonna happen already. But for your anime onlys, what do you think's gonna happen? Is he gonna be in the group? Obviously, he's gonna be kind of a pertain to him, kind of like Kakyoin happened. Like he was an antagonist at first, and then joined them. Same thing with Obito. So maybe that'll be the new breed. I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm not too fond of the guy, but we haven't really seen his good parts. We've only seen his lying and scheming parts. Kind of like the whole Kumagawa thing, if you guys are also Medaka Box fans. Anyways, this has been SSX Deuces, and I'll talk to you guys next time.